thrilled to be here. You guys are such lovely people, and so thank you for being so welcoming to that. Even though some of you look completely ridiculous, especially this guy over here, but that's okay. That's all right. I am here to start talking about books. Yeah? Yes, books. Meta was amazing, so he gave a great intro to this a little bit. Specifically, I want to start by talking about the book Fahrenheit 451.
I think it's going to work.
We're going to get something here.
I think it's going to work.
Please hold.
There you go.
Well, damn, now I don't have an excuse if it's really bad. Starting to talk about Fahrenheit 451. Many of you probably read this book, right? Maybe in high school. If you haven't, or you need a quick refresher, I'm going to give you the basic plot overview. Ready? Okay, so in Fahrenheit 451, there's this whole big faction of people, and they start burning all of these books, which causes all of those people to end up kind of looking like this. But then there's another group of people that gets really outraged, and so they go off and they form their own society with books, and we'll call them the book people. Meanwhile, the people who look like this end up starting this stupid war, and they blow each other up, which only leaves the book people to be the inheritors of the world because they're the sole survivors. Okay? Good stuff. Hopefully I can give that some context over the next few minutes. You like that? So I work in public education, and I realize that on a scale of what most creative people want to do with their lives, that's somewhere between repairing copy machines and speaking to a group of strangers. But I guess I'm a masochist for all that. I started 12 years ago as a high school English teacher because I believe in the power of words and poetry, imagination and books. But recently I moved over to central office administration, which is the dark side of education. I now build and launch college and career programs, like RJ said, for kids across the district, and it is incredible work. But being from the arts and humanities field makes me a bit of an outsider sometimes, and that's part of what brings me to this moment. A few months ago, I attended this meeting, and it was with these education and business leaders from around the region, and we were all sitting down and we were talking about initiatives, these programs that we were going to start, and we were going to do these amazingly cool things to help kids connect school to life. And this woman is sitting across from me, another school district, and she starts talking about what she's doing. And she says, hey, here we are creating engineers and we're making nurses. And I was like, well, that's pretty sweet. Tell me more about that. So she keeps talking and she says, well, the first thing that we had to do is we had to get rid of all the stuff that just kind of gets in the way. And she said, we started by getting rid of literature because our kids don't need to read literature. And she said, they don't need poetry. And I'm looking around the room like, I'm book people. Where's my book people? And going back, is anyone thinking about that novel? And nobody was. In fact, most of the people in that room were doing similar things in their schools. So here's what's happening. Over the last few years, there's been this trend in education towards a new understanding and this expanded implementation of vocational skills. At the heart of this trend is real-world context. Because to educators now, real-world context means that we are going to help kids by giving them this narrowed path in order to help them find success in a job. And that is absolutely a worthy endeavor. But when we give them just that narrowed path, it also it gives us implicit permission that we can just get rid of the things that may not seem to matter. And we may not be burning books, but when we quietly make them seem impractical or irrelevant, we ignite that ember. And that's the hidden danger of real-world context. So I wanted, if I had all the time in the world, I would tell you all these amazing things about literature, right? I would do something super dramatic, not as great as Meta, but I'd tell you about John Keats and how he says that truth is beauty and beauty is truth. And so all this literature stuff, it can't be this fake world context. It has to be something that's real, and it makes a difference in our lives. I'd also tell you about the novel Heart of Darkness and how ridiculous this novel is, and it really should never be taught in school because none of y'all understand what that book is about, right? And I tell you that we're the Imagineers of our lives. Right? I created the job that I'm in now, and many of you probably create the jobs that you're doing. So our kids are doing that too, and we need to help them take that ownership of that in order to make sure that they create that world well. What it really comes down to is two things. So for educators now, real-world context is about helping kids be good workers. And I don't know that it's necessarily about helping them be good people. We want our young people to be curious and compassionate. We want them to be humble and empathetic, and we want them to be persistent and thoughtful. And literature is the perfect vehicle to help teach them those things. So I have 3 appeals for you all today. My first appeal, shameless appeals. The first one is to let you know that people in positions like mine, we're reaching out to businesses and to professionals every day. And we're asking for help. We're giving people a seat at that table. And we need people like you, so please consider helping. We're asking for help with things like job shadows and internships and mentorships. And we need voices who will try to champion the arts and humanities in chorus with career skills. The second thing, my appeal, is if you know teenagers out there, there can be strange, elusive creatures sometimes, but talk to them. They're actually pretty curious about what we're doing and what we're up to, and they want to know what the point of all of this is. My third appeal, since it's the holiday season, if you are wearing your festive holiday gear, is to consider gifting a book. Maybe it's Fahrenheit 451, I don't know. But gift it, inscribe it with something that, how it made a difference in your life, because it absolutely will make a difference in their life. So my time is up. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.